family members. I want to wish people who celebrated, and acknowledge in the past with everything. So there's a lot to digest with that. Um, Football, basketball, the usual music. So some of those Grammy nominations, and I'm tripping about Taylor Swift with those 50 Grammy nominations. That's crazy. Um, so, the government shutdown, possibility with that, the Trump situation, all that, Biden, all that. Uh, Indy beat the Patriots today. No surprise with that. Um, the NBA tournament, which is Hokies, I don't know what. College football is still the same. So, uh, pretty much more or less things are still similar. Whatever you want to get into. I'm just kind of like jumping on by to see if anybody comes through. And like I said, I'll be here for a minute. I'm just gonna kind of just uh, reflect for a moment and just talk, see what's going on. So I'm gonna give people. If I don't see no heaviness, I'll be on it for a short term. But if people come through, I'll be here to talk for at least 20, 30 minutes. See what the people like chopping up about. Um, had some good commentary about a week ago. We was talking about when Philly beat Dallas, which they ended up doing. hmm And then Patriots lost today with the Colts, so that wasn't a surprise. Mac Jones sucks. We all know it. Belichick knows he's about done. So, Ron Washington got hired by the LA Angels baseball. I'm going to talk about that in a video. I did some videos this week talking about legacies and people leaving and going and so on and so forth. So, uh, that going on. Big music news this week. Tracy Chapman became the first African American artist to win Songwriter of the Year at the CMA. It's kind of a great thing and a sad thing. Black folks that had big impact with country music. So for her just being the first, that's pretty sad. And that Fast Car, we're talking about a song that's 35 years old that just got covered. Luke Bryan took it to #1. So it's kind of interesting that as impactful as Charlie Pryor, Ray Charles, and other artists have been, even Lionel Richie. You think about the black artistry who've been involved with country music award and their own bubble and all universe. So just stuff that I'm touching on, talking about. But whatever you want to chop it up about, I'm here. I'm going to give it some time. So we're just kind of just chilling, um, thinking about just watching some music stuff I was talking about. Yeah. I forgot to do my video about, I'm going to do it about Timberland, that whole mess. Place about Britney Spears. I want to do a video. I got to talk about it because he was out of pocket. But I will definitely address that one. Her book is interesting. She talks about a lot of different gist of everything they say. People claim that they be Palmer and how this and personal. Too much stuff gets put out here in these streets. And remember she started gyrating at the Usher show and that whole thing blew up and took a life of its own. And so then you got people in cases that, things went wrong. You never put your hands on a woman, you're not supposed to, unless, someone put their hand on you, etc. However, it takes two to tango, and she's no mess, and this stuff done went crazy. Um, what was it, too? A lot of times people in these companies be kind of rawless and ruthless and say anything. Got to be very careful. Lawsuits waiting to happen, and so you hear about these things, again, touching up on a lot of current events going on, a lot of stuff happening. So some serious stuff on my wires are kind of, so now I said live comes through. We gonna see. Feel free to ask a question as long as everything is productive. I don't get I'm up for it today, so things and different topics and stuff, been surfing the web and people are like, oh yeah, you don't play ball with politicians. They are cutting your throat. So you know with that. So Eric Adams got his knee wake up call. Black. They still know who you are. Selling out, buffooning, cooning, shuffling, jiving makes no difference. These folks, if they don't respect you, respect your behind. So Daniel Cameron found that out the hard way. Kentucky trying to run. What's up, Ted? I know you got some questions, so feel free to drop them. Yeah, Kentucky. That's what his behind gets. How he did Breonna Taylor, so whatever. So anyway, yeah. What's up, man? Shoot me a line what you want to talk about. But I think they gotta look and see who they play. They should be okay today. I think they'll be okay. I don't know. Cause when Detroit's running your division like that, I don't know. All things of which was a lot to take out. So feel free to if you got any comments, anything you want to talk about, feel free. Um, you know, definitely with it though. Yeah, I watched the Elder Bob Rashawn and I respect him and I enjoy what he represents. You don't always have to agree with everybody, but I represent what he said. But I thought it's really raw when people come to people's pages and sites and they diss stuff and they talk trash and they, say stuff. It's just messed up. So respect the elder. Point not long ago that some people would come to me and say, he belongs right. Oh, the problems that he runs into is that he picks the right calculated places to go where they don't have, juvenile crap. I got much respect for the elder always, as you know, always. Harden with Brook, he knew good and well when he had Westbrook, he knew well he wasn't what he could. That wasn't gonna work. He knew Durant wasn't that dude. Kyrie wasn't that dude. Joel Embiid wasn't that dude. Kawhi is like his last threat of someone he plays somebody off the ball, scoring bunches and freestyling playing. So what has he done? I didn't see it. So, so I'm not sold on Harden. He'll go down an all-star, one of the greatest players, be in the bottom 75, but a lot of asterisks by James Harden's name. A lot. A lot. He was allowed to be. It's not all his fault. He never went to too many places where he was challenged. So therefore, they allowed him to be a diva and to sashay and do what he wanted. So he's actually doing what he thinks. But because he's got that MVP and he's had some success and but he benefited from a soft league. He broke rules without breaking rules. It's kind of hard to explain. He represents a lot of stuff with the industry, which I don't like. So I'm not money success and all that. Get your bag, get your thing. However, I've never cared for the thing. McDermott is the problem, I think. As around him has become predicted. He did it to Miami not that long ago in the season. I think the problem is they don't run the ball enough. They need another threat to bring Mike Evans as a possession. He puts me in the frame of mind of Andre Reed with a little bit more athleticism, but put me in the frame of mind of that Alex and get more offense is beyond. It ain't just him. McDermott doesn't know how to coach. I tell this all the time. If no other reason to get Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, they know how to coach ego. You got to have a coach who knows how to coach ego. If you don't, this is what you get. When you coach on a superstar, you got to bring him up. They don't know how to bring him up, so they're not getting the best of him, and it shows. He's better than Dak Prescott. I mean, because show up and Mike McCarthy, meathead is over his head in the postseason against the way he looked against San Francisco, and then he gonna have those bad looked against San Francisco, and then he gonna have those bad games. But he looked good to beat Philly last week. They just didn't finish the game. I'm not gonna hold that one on, but I do think that he's bottom end. Now he is bottom end. If you put him in the top 10 by default, he's in the 7 to 10 club. Josh Allen has always been in the 1 to 5. So there's a gap. There's tiers to this. So I look at Josh Allen more like a white Cam Newton. Because Cam never got the right supporting cast and the right coach for his talent. And in spite of, he did quite well. Dak Prescott's had way more talent to work with than Josh Allen had. Josh ain't never had an Ezekiel Elliott who was looking like that early on, or a combination of Amari Cooper, the receivers. One Diggs, but look at what Dak has had to work with on offense and defense. I mean, come on. Micah Parsons on defense. There's nobody on Buffalo that's seeing Micah. Unless you take Von Miller back 10 years ago, 8 years ago. So talent level, he's never had that. So no, I Josh is more like a white version of Cam. Prescott was never on Josh's level, except maybe you would say his first year and part of his second. But Josh Allen, like an MVP candidate, the best quarterback in his own division. And Josh can say that, and I still think he's better than Tua is. But I know Dak Prescott is not better than Jalen Hurts. So, dumb, and we can disagree on that, but Tua is talented, but I don't know how, I'm not sold on Miami. I'm not sold on him like that. Because Tyreek Hill is just a freak. And they got Waddle, they got talent. But I know what Josh can do. I don't know about Tua being the dude. But I know what Jalen Hurts about. And I know that he's one up on the dude. So that's where I stand with that. The problem with the Bills is that they stagnant on offense. Their offense sucks. They don't put enough points up. They got a tough game against Denver tomorrow. That ain't no guarantee because Russell Wilson could get hot enough paper there. But the finished product just ain't there. So that's the problem. About the Kevin Durant, LeBron James, but they buddy. People like that today. They like that camaraderie. Baseball, you want Bryce Harper, really know. Yeah, I'm gonna let you say that. His problem is, okay, let me ask you this. How would you do with Minnesota? Compared to Kirk Cousins? He ain't. I just think the Packers' problem is that they relied on too much of the samey. Didn't prepare for something else. He has some things going for him, but Well, you said it. Listen, can we agree on that one? I got him over Zach. I got him over Daniel. Jordan Love could probably start for the Raiders. Because it could be a situation that he's in, But he do make some pretty bad decisions, Again, it depends on if you have expectations for Green Bay. I don't really have no expectations for Green Bay. So, I'm not, this got nothing to do with no bias or being a fan or not. I just don't really have any because I don't see them as a team like that. I see them as a team that been riding wave, but never, even with Aaron Rodgers at his peaks, they weren't a championship team. They were a team that could go deep. So now they're just middle of the pack at best. So what does that mean? So it all depends on where you come down on it. So, they might go after him because, you never know. Brock Purdy, I like Purdy, but they've been getting exposed. And a lot of it does come down to their coach. Kyle Shanahan, one of the problems with 49ers is that they don't get the most out of the quarterbacks. They get everything else right but that. And that's a problem that I see with them. That's a problem that I see with the 49ers. Because they should be running the NFC. They got the personnel, but they just not getting that one thing right. And that's what's kicking them in the butt. That's why that should be a Super Bowl balanced team that you believe in. And the gap between what they got at quarterback and Jalen Hurts is night and day. And that's the one thing with Frisco. Because when they look good, they look great. But when they look suspect, they got their behind beat up last week in Cincinnati, and they lost that game to Minnesota, and they just, and they don't finish certain games. The game against Cleveland, so they should have finished the Cleveland game up. Hung tough against Minnesota. They shouldn't be a 3-game losing streak team. That's just not acceptable for a team that's got that kind of stack. So, But Jordan Love, you never know. You never know. I'm impressed with CJ Stroud in Houston. That kid looked good. You're right about that. Because Shanahan in Washington sucked, and that whole thing with RG3 and McNabb was embarrassing. A lot of stuff with the Raiders, he was just average. So you nailed that. And the thing about so frustrating about Kyle Shanahan, he should have the same situation as McVay got in with the Rams. Because, like, the 49ers are always in the NFC Championship game, always deep, because they so loaded that their worst season is an NFC Championship game. That's because they got talent, but he can't seal the deal at quarterback. And you're right. You're absolutely right. And I still think a lot of it also was with the Elway and Terrell Davis, but you're right. Just like his pops. Except his pops got them rings, but his pops outside of Denver was just a Joe Ordinary with the Raiders and with Washington. Didn't finish good. And Shanahan is showing me the same thing with Frisco. Because I'm like, this team should be running things. Right on, Chick. Right on. Now that's some real talk. Stroud is for real. And Deshaun deserves better. He'll never be the same. He lost 1 year because of a suspect suspension, and they lost another year because they just feel like giving him another year. So he's lost 2 years, maybe 3. Until for a minute, he was the link between Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Because Deshaun's a bad boy. Well, Stroud will be for real. I like the coach. They got a brother as a coach. And also, if they keep the talent there, Houston has talent. And they're in a division that with a team like Jacksonville, you could see a nice rivalry there. Those could be 2 teams of the future if things don't get tampered with and messed with. So we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, I like Stroud. Stroud got off last week against Tampa Bay. I mean, put it to you like this. Baker Mayfield finally is looking like he belongs as a leader deal. So yeah, I feel with you, and I wouldn't be surprised if Big Ben ends up becoming a senator or runs for White House because, you know, frat boy who was Talladega Nights did all that freaky deaky stuff and all that, and they gave him a slap on the wrist, and he spoke out against taking the knee, and yeah, he you know, because he plays political game and politics, they will give him a white pass. They kiss his behind. He was a great quarterback. I'll give him his due. And for my money, because I seen them both, he was a better quarterback than Bradshaw. Bradshaw won more. Big Ben went to 3 Super Bowls, 2 and 1, but he was a better quarterback. Bradshaw had better talents. But Deshaun Watson got railroaded for real. He got railroaded. They took the bag, and I guess he did his classes and no one said no more, and that was about it. He got to be very careful. MaxxX brothers and money. You got to be very, and got to take your money back. So he's one of those guys that I would have liked to have seen how it would have gone if he don't get tampered with. Oh yeah, you speaking the gospel. He's got all those beady-eyed trademarks. I remember that Super Bowl against Seattle. He was drunk. He played horrible. I mean, was it Ellie, the receiver, Ellie Randall threw the best pass of the game for Pittsburgh. Because Roethlisberger was horrible that game. Jerome Bettis, but Roethlisberger rebounded against Arizona in the Super Bowl, but because he got the wife and the daughters and all that, they gave him a pass. Like I said before, he's got all the makings to be a future congressman. He's nice and stiff. He plays stiff when he won. We know he's a perv. We already know. See, the NFL, just like all entertainment, and as long as you're not a threat, or you play the game and you're white, they let you ride into the sunset. Just like Brett Favre, you know. Yeah, well, yeah. But I will say this. He hasn't had a big overabundance of media coming for him either. If you've been watching, they ain't ringing with a lot of endorsements. So they know. Because he's not really that marketable like that. Think about it. He got multiple rings. Eli Manning got more endorsements than him, and Eli is not half the quarterback Big Ben is. I know for Patriot people hating and give to Eli that he beat Brady. Let's be realistic. If you're familiar with the movie Let's Do It Again and the character Bootney Farnsworth, that is Eli Manning. He got the right juice at the right time to win 2 Super Bowls because his postseason him is dynamite. Dynamite. The regular season Eli, bench warmer. Big Ben was a better quarterback. I'm gonna give you that. However, Middle America and the sponsors, Big Ben don't get no juice. He don't get no juice. He's had some endorsements, but they ain't putting a lot of money on it. I noticed that for a guy that's won Super Bowl and got Pittsburgh is on the East Coast. And I've seen a lot of Steelers who had love, Career, Bradshaw, Swan, Franco Harris. Yeah, he was more, but it's like if Peyton Manning was 5 times better. Eli came up big in the postseason. And let's be realistic. Eli is more Robert Ory than he is Jordan or Kobe or Dwayne Wade or something like that. Let's just keep it 100. He ain't seen as that all-time great quarterback because touchdowns, interceptions, but he beat who he beat. So if you beat a mountain tier type of person, it gives you, I know how that go. But we know, and Eli know. Eli is juggling to be a Hall of Famer because I don't think he really is one. I just don't. So I don't think Eli Manning was a better quarterback than Kurt Warner. So, I mean, and, but he came up clutch. He'll get a Joe Namath pass for his time. And he's a funny cat, but, I love music questions. So you never go with this. Michael Jackson, Human Nature. I'm going to tell you why. I like Purple Rain, the song. I liked it more so at the time. And it is an anthem for him. However, Michael Jackson's Human Nature, when Miles Davis did the cover of it, and it gets the jazz chords and the progressions, the tone of it, you can take that song pop, you can take it jazz, you can take it from levels. You can do Prince's Purple Rain was a big song. Purple Rain, I can hear it, and it makes me think of a time Human Nature, his voice and the musicality just stay with me longer. Because it was one of them songs that, imagine if he had did an Al Jarreau or Bobby McFerrin type of my lifetime. You were around during the Thrill era, you know exactly what I mean. And for those who weren't, you couldn't imagine segregated radio. You couldn't imagine. This guy was battling himself in categories. They didn't want to play him on MTV. They didn't want to acknowledge him at the Grammys. He was told that Off the Wall was too black, basically. They gave him one award. See what people get today. Beyonce gets 99 nominations and Taylor Swift. People get, yeah, I know. I got stories about that too because I was a kid. And I remember the whole thing when it came out. No one saw it coming to what it did because The Girl Is Mine was released and then Billie Jean came out. And then it was like an event onto an event. He was a walking event. You don't have that in this lifetime no more. You don't have that. He was like head to toe. Michael Jackson had people in the trance from worldwide. There was no social media. He was the bottle that went across the ocean with the message and turned the mother out. He turned the mother out. He was, that album was like a cell phone today. I kid you not. It was just like having a cell phone. You had to kind of be around, almost experience Michael Mania. It was unreal. He had women famous. He had pimps, pushers, players who were screaming like chicks. Okay, they're like, Michael. They'd be all high pitched. They'd be thugging in them streets. But when they see Michael, people would be in wheelchairs fainting. Ain't nothing like him. What he did in Con, what he brought on that stage. He's the only artist I ever seen who would stand there, and you had to acknowledge him. Then he get into action. That's how gangster he was with it. And he had a persona on stage that his silhouette You knew who he was. If you go to a theater today and someone stand behind the curtain in the silhouette, you think they're gonna shoot the place up. But you knew it was him with the hat, with the, you know, he was what you want an entertainer to be. He really inspired a lot, broke racial barriers across the line. Bobby crossed over with Don't Be Cruel, and My Prerogative was big. The problem with Bobby was drugs, reckless, and he was living. But he had a good prime. Let me tell you something. I'll take his window. It wasn't that big. I'll take his best window over Usher and Chris Brown any day because he hit. He brought it on stage. He had the songs. He had the charisma. He had the character. And he hit. He hit. He hit. He hit in a way that you had to make that song. You had to make a statement. You were making statements. Something else. Definitely something else. I definitely like. You think so? I'll give Tyrese from doing co-commercials and films, but I never saw anything great. I thought he had a good voice. I just thought the cat didn't really move me at one thing. He really worked on some songs. His voice was good, but his songs were kind of hoodwinked, and they only went so far. I think he shortchanged Angelo too. Those guys I think were better. Tyrese, because he got in the film, because he did the commercials and had a little bit, that's why he looks a bit bigger. If he was dependent on music, no. Music career never matched. Because I like Sweet Lady. I like when his voice was decent, good voice, but the material didn't really go nowhere. And Jaheim had a chance to be a soul lover man, soul hard, hood man. But you know, so that's what I'm saying. And the movies is what saved his career. So that's what got him over. Not because of his music. No. So you come around now, you see these guys who are doing TV and doing all kinds of stuff, and it manipulates their actual career. But if we just stick to the music, Tyrese would be on a milk carton, and Jaheim would be right. They'd be a 2-for-1 on a milk carton. Next time you went to go get some cereal and you got you some milk, you see both their faces plastered at Walmart somewhere on a milk carton because no one can really remember those careers. They remember the other things they done. Well, in Tyrese's case. Yeah, you're right about The Rock and Van Diesel. They both sold out. I might do a video about Dwayne Johnson talking about running for president. I'm like, yeah, okay. They both light-skinned bouncer brothers who got over. So, you know. But I'm not knocking nobody's hustle with their careers. It's just that, yeah, they sold out. They sold out for franchise movies to basically be meathead brothers, to be meathead versions of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And, you know, that trick. Yeah, I loved him as a rapper. I mean, when I get asked about my top 5, he's one of my top, you know, because he was great. He had a great spit game. He battled. You know, he had longevity. And then he got into movies and film and TV, etc. However, he too old at this. Joe Biden called him a boy. Now I know he's young enough to be Joe Biden's son, but it's the way it went down and MC Light with all that. But you gotta remember, you know, Hollywood. These cats will grab a bag, they will tap dance, they will grin, they will shuffle, they will shuck and jive, and they have no spine when the money is green. That's what they do. You know, the hood snatched them out, and the industry owns you. You know, I talk about it all the time. It's a plantation. Entertainment's all a plantation because that's who they put money on. They only put money on who they can control. And they expect you to kowtow and buy. I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but when you mention people like AOL, some people like money on who they want, and they know they can put got a hand on. And you see who they show say with. You know, he flip-flop. When he started talking about that gatekeeper crap, I'm like, come on, man. Look, I watched your movies. You had Chris Rock. You had Chris Tucker. Yeah, Chris Tucker, Mike Epps, Kevin Hart. In the past, you riding shotgun in the movies. What the earth, wind, and fire are you talking about? The gatekeepers. When they franchise your hood movies, you've gotten over and over. Now he read about the big three in the NBA. However, as him getting these role moves, doing these type of films, you didn't crossed over. That you can do it straight out of Compton and get your son hooked up. I mean, out of his game and been in it, and they know that he used him. He knowingly know because they putting money on you. They put money on you and they own you. And I will tell them like until you do like flip the business, it's corporate America, and they own most of them. Oh, do the right thing for me. I'll tell you why. Because Spike Lee's best movie, you can make a case for Malcolm X. The political ramifications of it. I'm a big fan of the tutorial. John did a great job. That whole who's your favorite rock star, NBA player, all that. See, I grew up in the East Coast, so I'm familiar with that all day. Now, I liked Friday, and I thought Cube and Chris Tucker were off the chain. John Witherspoon, I liked it. The rawness, F. Gary Gray, I liked the rawness of it. And Phase on Love, who probably never have another better role because the Esther rolls in his hair, the Aunt Esther thing cracked me up. But Do the Right Thing moves me because I'm social conscious, and Danny Aiello was great. White Men Can't Jump because it was more better developed. I think Above the Rim tried to take on so much characteristics. They didn't really fully enhance Leon's character. If they had done Leon's character more justice, I think it would have been a lot closer, better. But Wes Snipes was in his peak prime. Woody Harrelson was actually good on the big screen. And that's why the remake sucks so bad. But it felt like the Allen Iverson story, but they didn't quite get into a little bit more for me. I don't even waste my time with that garbage. That's like watching House Party 8. I ain't watching that garbage. You know, I trust heads who and I wouldn't waste my time with it. You know, what they're trying to do is play it 30 years later with the same old tired racial clean in the hood. You had a fresh Wesley, a Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez was untampered. So, what's up, ZP? How you doing? Because this is a political maneuver. Now, you can debate who was better, LeBron and Kobe. I'd like LeBron's overall body of work was all around complete player. But if you ask me who I take my money on the line, I take Kobe. But I ain't no problem with LeBron being old. But while they're doing it, because of the whole situation in Colorado, there is an agenda. There is a certain group that has an agenda. And LeBron has been used as more of a private corporate pitchman. So that's why. You know, and it's got much to do with basketball. You can make the basketball argument, but this is more about corporate. That's a great question too. And Kobe, they want to bring up surviving Kobe. I'm telling you, there's a lot more to that. They would have gone there after Gayle King did that mess with R. Kelly. They tried to do that with Kobe, and they got that shut down. But believe me, that's one of the things that went down. Oh, if I'm picking, Hillary Banks, yes, Lord. Because if you saw her in, Class Act, yeah, Stacey was bad in More Money, you know, but Hillary, soft, docile, yeah. And Tupac got around with that, and I saw why. Yeah. Hillary, yeah. And she had great features too. True that. Yeah. Even they ain't got nothing to do with the shuffling and bucking that Stacey Dash does, but she was bad for a moment. But Hillary was bad. Just, bad. And you named good movie and all that. He's not a black activist. My dude Raul with the Nuggets was activist. Colin Kaepernick, activist. Brothers who lost stuff. Spencer Haywood, not no LeBron James. He said some things. Thank you, ZP. He said some things that made white folk feel comfortable to an extent and not comfortable. But he ain't never said nothing about China in them shoes. He ain't never, a lot of stuff he ain't spoke out against. Yeah, he got scandals, but no one's going to say nothing because he's been a billion-dollar industry. He came from high school. He's the last man that they want to portray. See, he's the last big one after Kobe too. So there's a lot of tie-in with that. And he played the game. He kept his business for the most part on the low. He made it seem like he was just this conglomerate going along, played the game. And he fell in place. Greg Hodges, great call did. Yes, he was. And he got whiteballed from the White House in 92. Because George Bush said, we don't want you here. You coming here with a dashiki on? No can do. So good call on Craig Hodges. Yeah, the NBA plays this game like they so progressive. They're not. And Hodges, the NBA stands for Negroes Be Acting. That's what I told you. They do a lot of acting there. I don't know if they'll go after him when he retires, unless, of course, he really does something like something really comes out, because they're gonna protect him. They protect who they want, and they'll do him like they do Jordan. Yeah, I went there because they protect who they want. All the guys are protected who they want. Barry would not dance with these white writers. Barry would not say anything. They know good and well he's a Hall of Famer. They know good and well that even if they stop with the 400, that he still would be first ballot. They just hate him because he wouldn't break and he wouldn't give them the time of day. So no, he should be a Hall of Famer. He was the best baseball player I ever saw in my life. And I usually don't say proclaim one-on-one, but I ain't never seen him like Barry Bonds. And he's one of the greatest athletes in any sport, period. In the discussion, I put him way there. Oh yeah, Jordan played an even killed dice game. He rolled dice on camera on the Sports Illustrated cover. That should tell you something. Yeah, he was betting. Yeah, he got suspended. I believe Tim Donahue. I believe they covered Jordan. I believe all that. David Stern needed a black crossover dude. He fit. He came at the right time. And he was charismatic, personality, good-looking cat, real groom, all that. But he benefited. He did. But they did the same with Magic, too. I mean, all of them got some, they all got some. Bird, they all got some. You'd be surprised what David Stern cleaned up in the alley that you didn't see, because he always had his broom and his dustpan to sweep away the debris that they didn't want you to see. These players ain't squeaky clean. It's just that what they got. Oh, yeah, Sosa, Clemens, yeah, they all should be in the Hall of Fame. Sosa easily, maybe not the first year, but definitely third year. Clemens the first ballot with Barry Bonds. Arguably the best pitcher I ever saw in my life, and he's definitely in that top five. Paul Morrow, you could make the case, you could make him wait 4 or 5 years. He got the numbers, but he was nondescriptive. McGwire belongs in the first ballot. Well, again, thank you. Because D-Wade showed him how to win. D-Wade showed him on a high level. He not just told him how to win, he gave him some class and some dignity. LeBron was not hip to the finer things of attire. What I'm saying is he was mature in terms of playing, but he didn't have that maturation as far as that level. And he gave him a lifestyle. He took him to another level. He did. See, Dwayne Wade, like Steph Curry, to me, are what I call leaders who are bad enough to run a team, but they know how to step to the side, just like Derek Jeter. These are humble, great, all-time great guys. And, LeBron thinks he did it by himself and it could have happened. He didn't turn on D-Wade. He hates Pat Riley. He never respected Eric Spoelstra. That's what I come down to. And there are going to be people who say, well, he could have stat pad, but where else could he have won? Don't come at me about New York with Carmelo, and don't come at me with Chicago with D Rose, because neither one of those guys were seeing Dwayne Wade in a totality. No, neither one of them. So I lost a lot of respect for LeBron, and I'm glad Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. had some backbone to tell the truth, because LeBron's ego and his delusions and what his minions out here be having you thinking that he just did it all by himself. Even Jordan will tell you Pippen came through. Man, I'll tell you Kareem. Shaq will tell you Kobe. Shaq will tell you what. I don't even waste my time with that delusion that he be smoking. Because he wants people to think that he is King James. He's just full of himself, and I don't pay him a lot of attention. Clemens, 350 victories, correct. Bad white boy. Redneck, wasn't a big fan of him personally, but as a pitcher, He ain't really play with the Yankees, but that bat is one of the baddest pitchers I've seen. Steph, yeah, well, you know how I feel about Steph. If you follow me and you watch my videos, I got Steph over LeBron. Steph changed the game, impactful, did the whole nine, did the whole thing. And he's going great right now. He just doesn't have another wheel. That was a teammate. But if you put something with Steph Curry, he's still top 5 MVP right now. He's the only. They want to push Jason Tatum as the brother, light-skinned brother, the most important American player. It's still Steph. Steph's the only cat that you got from the States that you can put with Jokic, Giannis, Joel Embiid if you want MVP. Think about it. They want to push Tatum, and I see what they're doing because he's a Celtic and all that. And if he had a beaten Steph, they would have made him sound like the coming of Larry Bird and Bill Russell combined. He ain't got it, but Steph still got it. Steph's still that dude. He's still a bad dude. You know, and you got to remember something. When you're saying that he's better, when they put him in the Magic Johnson discussions or put him with it, because he has earned it. He's earned it. He is that dude. He is that good. I hold Steph Curry in high regard. And if he wins another ring, he can move way up. They just don't want to tell the truth because he represents the modern day. He took the positions out. He changed the game. I know Richard Jefferson said Magic saved the game, Steph changed the game. They belong in the same stratosphere. Yeah, you're right, Chad. Randy Johnson, yeah, great pitcher, dominant. And the funny thing, when he got to the National League, he was unbeatable. I remember when he went to Houston and got to Arizona, he was unbeatable. Came back to Yankees, he fell off. But yeah, he got to the National League. Once he left Seattle, he was a beast. We won't. Too many pitch counts. Too many, what's that stupid term? Daryl Morley and James Harden, that whole thing, the astrologics, the whole, which they've used that, but pitchers need to pitch. But he was a bad boy. I remember him in Seattle because I was in the area at the time, and the big unit he was no joke. He had the heat. He was bad. Well, Kobe was actually almost, yeah, I'm gonna address that by Vin Baker. Yeah, Kobe was foreign in his own self. I mean, he grew up in Italy and he came back to the States, and he would have fit in real good with that. But yeah, they it's an agenda. They're doing away with African American players. And the NBA is basically gonna be like baseball. They're gonna be cast that look like it with an S curl. That's what they're doing, or fades and stuff. You see what's going on. They're gonna find who they want. And they tried it with Yao Ming and it didn't turn out, but now they got different guys. And I'm not knocking guys who were bad because I think Jokic got a chance to be an all-time true great. Giannis does too. However, they got guys that they're pushing that I don't think Joel Embiid would be in that argument. I don't think Luka's going to quite be in that argument. Jokic I can buy and Giannis I can buy. But some of these other cats, and of course I give Dirk his due. And I'm Ginobili, But they're doing this on purpose. They're killing off what you remember. Yeah, I did that because well, it's true. I lived out there in Seattle, and that turkey got up there and sung the national anthem with the white girls. Oh, Lord. His non-singing, scary self. Big old hoagie, baby, big old cupcake. That's why they got him, because Seattle loves that. They love brothers to be soft and docile. And they got him for that. Yeah, they do. Giannis is a bad boy. I hope the thing with him and Dame works out. I still think they need another. Chris Middleton's going to be interested in things they got to do. They bench is a little soft in the cakes and their defense giving up, but they get that thing together. They definitely could be a threat. And those are the two best players going for my money. They neck and neck. But Jokic is on another level. I've never seen a center. Arvydas Sabonis was too old when Portland got him, but he's the only cat I've seen that could be at the top of the key and roll him dimes, but he didn't have what Jokic did. This dude makes scoring 25, 30 like it's nothing. And he got the 10 rebounds, 10 assists. He's more scary. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to address that thing with that dude and I was in Too Raw, and the cat was going at me back and forth about why Kemp ain't a Hall of Famer. Kemp's problem is going to be he was too greasy, And he was a precursor to Blake Griffin, but he would have been a Hall of Famer by now if they wanted him to. He was the Rain Man. He had a nickname. He had posterized dunks, and he's one of the best in-game dunkers. But they wanted to dimensionalize him. Well, Russell, it backfired. Yeah, he had all them corny commercials with Delta Airlines and stuff, but it backfired. And they turned on him because Pete Carroll, got the last say. But Seattle does love you to be generic brothers. They don't, they like Marshawn because he came up big, but you can't be but so threatening where you living. Oh yeah, Barry Bonds is one of the greatest athletes I ever seen, period. Okay? He belongs in that conversation with greats of the great. Because baseball, the reason why I knew he was great, besides being a 5'2" player, this dude would be at the batter's box and he would tell you slider, changeup, curve, fastball. He could tell the catcher. He knew the plate. And you got to remember something. His godfather was Willie Mays. Do I need to say anything else? Cousin to Reggie Jackson and to Reggie Smith, too. Well, they're two different types of movies. I mean, they mean different things. I guess for me, I'm going to say Minister Society because I got more Minister Society quotes. I mean, I do some Forrest Gump quotes in some of my speeches and my talks, but Minister Society ain't nothing like you go to a Burger King drive-thru and break yourself off and I want a cheeseburger. I mean, I don't know how many times I've quoted Menace. And Lawrence Tate did such a great performance as Old Dog, and it just hit. It hit. Gump was a great classic movie for Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is one of those guys that he'll get taken for granted because he made a lot of movies that you like. But Menace was just raw, and I liked and for the record, I liked Jada back then. With the weed dress. She was cool back then. But that's a different day and time. But for me, yeah, it's gonna be that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. But again, he was seen as a simpleton. See, the problem I had, and I'm gonna tell you a story. Back in my old neighborhood, I lived in Hampton, Virginia. I had a cat. They used to stay about 2-3 blocks from my own neighborhood. He talked just like Bubba did. Bubba Gump when he did he just like Michael Williamson did the character. He tell him just like him. It was freaky. Tell him just like him. Chanel Soren. So remind me what Soren said. Has it got to do with the steroids? Because if that's the case, I will address that. He don't respond to everything. He ain't never said nothing about China. He don't talk about everything. If that was about the rods, okay, he ain't gonna address that. And the NBA ain't gonna address that. I had a buddy of mine who passed from COVID. He used to say he thought Michael Jordan was riding up when he came back because of his body was built. I think they know that cats do rods, cats do marijuana, cats do everything. It's $1 billion business. You gotta do what you do. But we know that LeBron's body would have broken down. It's already been kind of broke down, He carries a lot of weight, and the way he moves laterally, So, but one thing that proves it is you remember 10 years ago, and as a Heat fan, I remember against the Spurs, he used to get them cramp games. He don't get cramp games no more. His legs give out on him, but he don't get cramps no more. What mysteriously that happened? Remember the finals against the Spurs in 2014? He had the cramps. He don't get that no more. I know there's something going on, but LeBron, because he's $1 billion enterprise for the business, So that's what they want. That's what they want. We know he's near the end of his career. We already know. We know what they're doing. I remember because I was wondering, see back then, just taking this watch for granted. Back then I did a lot of pickup games and I cramped up. I had to ice up with the icy. So your legs, because sometimes you're not your circulation or whatever you're doing. So I remember things I had to make adjustments, and your body sometimes just saying you got to eat a little bit different, drink a little different. But he was hydrated against. He's the only one that fell out. I remember. And then notice it stopped. When you would think he'd get older, he'd have more of those problems. So, yeah. He looks great, but they gotta. It's the work in progress. They still need to get their guard play. They got to get their bench play. They're a very young team, and it's gonna take about 2 to 3 years to really get that thing going. He's raw boning it right now. It's kind of like what Pedro Martinez was at the start of his baseball career. Guys can raw bone it for a few years, but when they get seasoned, you're gonna see the best. And once he posts up, fades away, utilizes the I'd say shooting top of the key, work at base, give and go. Just work on basic fundamentals and play hot ball. Keep that ball moving. It's gonna be tough for Cass to keep up with him. That's when he'll be dangerous. Learns off the ball. He might be holding him back, but who you bring in to San Antonio to take you to another level? Because Pop's got that rep. I mean, in Pop's case, Pop never made it sound like he could go without dunking. Or Kawhi. Now the Kawhi thing you can hold against him, because Kawhi did go off and win a ring in Toronto. Belichick's situation, his arrogance got the best of him. I can see Pop coaching young talent. Belichick had Mac Jones for 3 years, and that cat then got worse with each year. So, I mean, I agree he should retire, consider retiring. Belichick looks horrible. They suck. I mean, Mac Jones can't go again or throwing a pick or taking a bad sack or something, and they just look bad. I think it's either injection related. Some people mentioned that he saw things at a Puffy party or Quincy Jones. I think that they got their hands in him. They own him. He done all them commercials for the betting on NFL and all that stuff. I mean, they own him. He's in too deep. He probably wants out. He can't get out. Or they're surviving Jimmy Fox him. And believe me, when they come after you like that, they got some stake in your behind. So he don't have a lot of wiggle room, unless, of course, he still goes out. So I think he's on, and I think they tried it. That was just a shot fired. Because he ain't really spoke about it, and it's just too weird. And not that he was exactly burning up anything, but he was doing more commercials than he was doing like the movies that were hitting lately. So, I just got Skip Bayless come through on X talking about, I don't know what all he said, but they suck. And they need someone like it, and they stink because they don't have the quarterback play is horrible. Mac Jones is way in over his head. He's like a fry cook trying to be a chef who's washing dishes and trying to do 3 things at once. He can't do it. And Belichick thinks he's so great and so stuff, so he's getting exposed. It makes me mad and sad that the Bills made Mac Jones have one out-of-body game, because this turkey going to look like he belong there, and he don't. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a Patriots fan, if you win 5 games this season with that turkey, you should have a 1-block toilet paper parade, because he sucks. So they are pretty bad. And I'm not just saying that as a Bills fan, it's just that their defense is okay, but the offense is horrible. I think Jordan Love is better than Mac Jones. Mac Jones, I didn't see 3 different seasons with 3 different ways, and he has regressed. At least with Jordan Love, he got an excuse. He was sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. Mac Jones ain't showed me much of nothing. I seen 3 different ways where he just looked busted all the way. I have to disagree with you, Z-Peak, about Kobe, because he was going to leave Vanessa on the low. He applied. As a matter of fact, they were planning a divorce in 2010, 2011, 2 times. I think he was feeling himself. I think he definitely had some side action. I don't think that they were worried about. They never gonna have him pass Jordan because Jordan came in a time with Magic and Bird where he was the first solo cat. Kobe wasn't a solo cat like that. They wanted to make him more romanticize him compared to Shaq because the big man never gets the love. So if you go an angle, but his situation in Colorado, he knew he had did something, and it wasn't his first rodeo. And when he put that purple house on Vanessa's finger, that hearing, I knew good and well that you were $4 million ring and the Dr. King T-shirt at the Nickelodeon Awards. I watched all that, but he went too far to an extent. I think he went too far, and fortunately, it got settled out of court because it could have been worse, and I don't think necessarily, but it could have been worse. So there's a lot going on. The fact that chick had dirty drawers is what saved him from a more. It was that redneck prosecutor was no joke. So but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think it should be brought up either. Let that man rest in peace, because I think where he got taken out, and that's shady. Yeah, Mac Jones gonna be a bum. I'd probably say Mahomes. I mean, if what's his butt for Frisco don't get hurt, he's lucky he could have been into it. McCaff. McCaff don't get hurt, but I gotta go Mahomes. Yeah, man, I gotta say Mahomes. You're looking at a guy. When a guy's on top of his game, he just comes to him, and he just attracts success. And Mahomes is just, it's like Tiger Woods almost. When you win like that, so he's the best quarterback. That team's always a threat. And, so I like those last 3 takes and questions. I mean, yeah. Oh, it was a great move because I wish the Bills had done it. Andy Reid knew that he saw something special in him, and he was great in college. And Lord knows he made Andy Reid sit at the table with some of the best coaches ever. That's how big that move was. That was going to be Andy Reid's last great move to show that he could be a great coach. I mean, at that level, great. He was in there really good, very good, almost great. Now Andy Reid sits at the table with some of the best ever because 2 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl appearances, all that dominance so far. He made the right move. Mahomes did more than paid off that draft. No, he wasn't. And he choked away that Super Bowl because if he throws down the field to Terrell Owens in that Super Bowl, who knows? He just never really finished. He was a good quarterback. Almost very good. Had a good run. But he wasn't, no. I think Jalen Hurts has passed him up personally. I'm more impressed with Jalen Hurts because Hurts is consistent. McNabb had better chances because it was a weaker division. Not taking none from him, but that's just kind of how I look at it. I just don't. But no, Mahomes is on another level, though. Mahomes belongs in the conversation with the Montanas and the Bradys and the Elways and those guys to me. Probably wasn't in criminal activity because I think she was for the streets. Obviously, if they did their investigating reporting and they find out a woman goes in and makes those kind of choices, dirty draws should be open book. But, they made it. They didn't really they made it, but they didn't really take him out like they could have because he wasn't a threat. And you let that have been Rasheed Wallace or Steven Jackson or some brother or somebody that was a scary brother, that'd been in their career. Now, Allen Iverson, for that matter, let Iverson be up there with a white chick, and that goes down. So Kobe still got the benefit for his girl and naked out the door and all that mess that was on ESPN. Let that Ben Iverson. He got the benefit of the doubt more so. Not saying that Kobe didn't have, things go, but he got the benefit of the doubt. If you're talking about as a talent, yes, he's better than Brady. But if you're talking about putting the whole thing together and doing it where he did it, not yet. Talent-wise, yes. But as far as the body of work, no. Brady came out of nowhere, took his game to another level. And he made a coach into a household name. And Brady did it in Tampa Bay. And Brady did it in different offenses and styles. He didn't ever have, when he, first year he had a caliber Randy Moss, you saw what happened. He did not play with those kind of talents. So Brady was poised. He came up big. So, but Mahomes got a chance. You know, no disrespect, I'm just saying. Deshaun Jackson could run fly patterns. I like his athleticism, but he didn't scare me like Tyreek Hill do. Tyreek Hill, that dude, I mean, Deshaun was dangerous and fly, but Tyreek Hill can just juke you, and he was like, whew. I mean, he's gonna put up some crazy numbers. I like D-Jack, and they ran him off the NFL too with the Farrakhan things on his page. Remember, I like D-Jack, but Tyreek's on another level. Yeah, well, Kobe was a lot like Tiger Woods. He was kind of corny and nerdy when it came to them chicks because the jump offs, you know. Remember the police report? He said I should have done like Shaq, and nah, he wasn't experienced to show. If he's as good as, if he gives you Randy Moss vibes, then you'll be talking about a top 5 receiver all time. That's a heck of a compliment. Randy Moss had the best ballet footwork I ever seen for a receiver. His feet were incredible. He just didn't bring the attitude all the time. Scary talent. Scary. That's a heck of a compliment though. Because Tyreek got feet. But Moss was like ballet, man. I mean, he's like Baryshnikov. The cat, his feet work. He just attitude and staying consistent and going at it. But some people think he's the GOAT. He's in the argument after Rice and with T.O. for my money. So I like Moss a lot. Moss was one of my favorites. So I wish if Tyreek does have Randy Moss vibes, we'll be talking in 10, 15 years about where he ranks, and he'll be in the high tier. I mean, he got that catch with Mahomes in the Super Bowl, so he's got a ring. So, well, you know, I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan, and I don't know what they're gonna do against Ohio State. But Marvin Harrison, he's bad. Yeah, he's bad. His dad could catch that fade, them corner fades. Oh man, MH was a bad man. Bad man. Harrison Jr. was a bad man. Yeah, we'll see. Because Marvin Harrison never got his due, senior. Them routes with Manning in them corners, he had good toes, good, strong, put up numbers, was consistent. Well, Kobe, you gotta remember, he came over here and he was a young boy. He was a boy, and then he had to grow into a man playing with the Lakers. I mean, Shaq was 5 years older, and you're playing in a man's league. You gotta put up and do what you gotta do. So he had to adjust to so much, and he was thrust into the Jordan comparisons and playing with Shaq and Phil Jackson and La La Land and all that. So I mean, there's a lot of things going on. So it took him a while to grow up, and I think his maturation, it came, but he went through it. He was a man child, you know. Great talent, but he didn't have it all. You know, it's kind of like what Tiger Woods. He's, you know, you see it with that with Michael Jackson. You saw some man child because people see you. LeBron's got it too, you know. And you had this success. You had this crazy. Everybody wants you. Serena Williams didn't have one child thing. She was great always. She kept even killed, but you know, some people that thing can be something. That thing can really, if you're not used to it, so it can, the adrenaline, that rush. Yeah, Great Toes, Randy. Yeah, Great Toes. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that. I heard about that. Peyton Manning's nephew. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what that means. That Manning name is like the Bush family and politics, so we'll see, all the Kennedys thing. So we'll see. If you're asking me overall body of work, it's Will Smith in a blowout because he could rap, he did TV better. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is more iconic than Jamie Foxx TV show. His film career blows Jamie out the water until you get to right. He was good in Ali, but they both were in Ali, any given Sunday. But Will had the it. Jamie got good, and he music career done good. He's one of those kind of guys that sprinkled into everything and has talent. Will, though, was one of those people that you just sat there and you were like, wow. Because he had a blueprint. He had a blueprint, and he just went a whole nother level, from jump. People love Will from back in the day. Jamie, it took a minute to get it through, and he got it. But Will's just a natural with it. I mean, he hit harder and did bigger things overall. So I gotta give Will the edge. I love me some Nia Long, and she's gotten, if it's a weave or not, whatever, she looks great now. But Newton was bad from jump. Newton, Nia got in maturation of it over time. But Newton was, I felt Newton from back on the jump. Neil looked kind of youngish to me at first, and it took a while for it to, then it got better and better and better. And right now, you're looking at Udoka crazy, why he hype, but you know how things are. I know Nia probably said, you know who I am, and you know how that go. You mess with a woman to be awkward and act funny with you. But they both look great, but Newton kind of got me a little bit. I got to give Newton the edge. Prime. You sound like a special ed, and I ain't got no problem with that. Did they ruin hip hop? I don't think they ruined it. I think that hip hop was already ruined. I think the problem with hip hop is that hip hop was, when it first started off, it was like the counter. The R&B was the counter. It was an edge and an attitude. And what happened was the cats didn't take ownership. They wanted to work with these conglomerates, these corporations. And a lot of these cats didn't know what to do, so they didn't work together. Now, if you're coming at me about did they ruin in terms of aesthetics, like the word usage and stuff, they are responsible for a lot of the, over glorifying a simplistic version of it. But if you're asking me, did they ruin it in terms of the corporate or anything? No, because it was going to go that way anyway. When you don't own anything and you sell out, then people can take what's there and then they can manipulate it and then take from that and water it down and water it down. And that's what people were selling on. So I don't think that I think they hurt in terms of making it so, what I call simplified. They simplified in a way where you could come with a scare tactic and then ran from it. But that's to say that these cats didn't have talent, didn't have a career. And they did. Because Ice Cube had one of the greatest careers, and you know about Dr. Dre, and you know what Eazy-E did. So, East Coast people may say they did, but again, we weren't dealing with fair play. There was so much bias when NWA came out because everybody was all pro-East, and the South was laughed at and clowned, and the West was laughed and clowned. So people took that mindset up into the early 90s until stuff kind of flipped, because it wasn't, if we were playing on a level playing field, I will answer that for you and say, you could say yes or no. But if you ask me, did they ruin hip hop? What ruined hip hop is not being inclusive. When we were in the same gang, you needed East and West and the South and them brothers to get together. When the Grammys boycotted and wouldn't let black entertainers on hip hop be on TV, they should have worked together and took over. Gangsta's Paradise has more relevance. And there was a storytelling there. And it was more in line to what was going on, you know. Different form of storytelling, but is what the storytelling was going towards. So I thought Gangsta's Paradise had better storytelling. But Ice Cube was the better writer. So, But that's a great question. A lot of things wrecked hip hop. Hip hop got too white for my money, too soft, too corporate. When you put labels on acts, that's the problem. When you label, when you kill off 2 or 3 of the most important rappers, who I got out of those 2? Pac overall got the more important body of work. Biggie, to me, gave me more memorable lines though, and Pac influenced him. But I think Pac's impact as a poet was deeper. I thought that he resonated and hit in a way that he got so much out of his system. But Biggie was more versatile. So Pac body of work, catalog, Biggie more versatile. So if I give a slight edge, I'll give a slight edge to Pac on that. Manny, yes, because he came up big. Albert, no. Jim Tomei, numbers. But Manny, yes, because Manny came up big for Boston. And I look at Albert Bell and Jim Tomei kind of like stats. But see, baseball says we're in the really good, very good. Manny was a Hall of Famer. He came up big. Big. And it comes down to Cleveland wins the World Series with Albert Bell, then yeah. Because he was big time. But Manny, yeah. That's a great question because, oh man. I thought that Houston-Washington World Series was crazy. So can I say that one legally? That was the craziest one I remember off the top of my dome. Neither home team won, and they scored crazy runs, and it was just so unpredictable. That was an exciting World Series for me. Yeah, you can make the case for that one too. But the question is asked me in the last 10. In the last 10. So give me the last 10. But I thought the Washington-Houston blew my wig because of what happened. Yeah. So, the thing about with baseball is that I have to put my thinking cap, because sometimes these things go by so fast that I'm not, The Kansas City Mets World Series was kind of crazy too, because even though Kansas City was the better team, they won all those games late. So that was a crazy one too. A lot of people forget Kansas City beat the Mets in the World Series. Because I had a buddy of mine, he was a diehard Met fan. I said, y'all were lucky to get there. Y'all should be happy to get a runner-up. And he laughed at me, but then in hindsight, he said, yeah, you're right. We weren't even supposed to be there. So that was kind of crazy too. I'm going to be honest with you, as a Yankee fan, I really don't care too much because, I watch them. I have a watch interest because the Houston Astros have been the best team to me in the last 10 years in baseball. Yeah, I know. And I was sad about that. I did a video about him. He was the first baseball glove I ever owned. And I had a lot of Dusty Baker memories. But and I'm glad he got his ring because he deserved it. He's one of the greatest managers ever. The man was a winner, period. But I don't really, baseball in me, I keep up with it and I watch it as a diehard fan. But the World Series has become most anticlimactic. But I was impressed with Texas. They got a team that could be a problem for some years to come. And Bruce Bochy is a beast as a manager. So There you go. That man is bad. So there you go. So that's a bad man. But yeah, me in the World Series has definitely changed. I mean, you know, I kind of, as a Yankee fan, and once I mentioned Mitch Burhammer, when he used to play with the Giants, he got lost. The Giants, when he did all that pitching, I was impressed with that. But a lot of teams were winning, and I just kind of, you kind of, as a Yankee fan, it's tough to watch them because your team ain't there. You don't root the same. You're a fan of the sport, but you just don't get into it. Well, she won a ring. She came up big last year. I don't know. I'm gonna address that one, Ted. It's a lot of reasons. It's a lot going on there. I don't know. Personal issues, I don't know. But she won. She came up big. So whatever happens, sometimes you get the peak and prime in one juice. It's hard to say. Because sometimes people's best is that's all you get. But she came up big, so she got that ring for life. Sometimes that's all you get. Expectations, and you don't get it. If she didn't win last year and she did all that, you'd hold it against her. Most people would. But she came up big, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say. All right, Ted. What do I think about that statement? I'd say they're more about his teammate, Giancarlo Stanton, than over Aaron Judge. Giancarlo Stanton, because he hit big home runs with the Marlins, came to the Yankees, big time hitter, MVP worthy, but not necessarily a guy that you look at as a leader. When I think about Aaron Judge, I would put Aaron Judge probably in the Anthony Davis category minus the ring. Dominant, injury prone, and I don't know if he's the guy who can necessarily lead the team. That's what I would say. But I know where you're going there with it. Yeah, he do. It's like the Jim Harbaugh of Major League Manager. And again, but he's also got that same disease that who was that? Oh yeah, that Sean McDermott's got. Can't coach a superstar. Don't know how to handle it. Can't coach on that level. When you coaching top tier, it's not like coaching a guy who's really good or very good or an all-star. You're coaching all-time great talent. And Aaron Judge is going to be a Hall of Famer. And Garrett Cole's a top-tier pitcher. Man, you got to win 95 to 100 games. You got to be a threat. You got to beat Houston. You can't be a second wild card draw or just settling for mediocrity, especially in New York. Well, Cashman is not really a puppet no more because he is a puppet, but he's not. I'm going to tell you why. He been there 20 plus years, so that's not a puppet anymore. He's in the family. I will say this, though. If the old man Steinbrenner was alive, he'd have been fired 3 times for that coming up short. The family that runs it now, they're not like their daddy. And it shows. They're talking about making some draws. They're looking at Juan Soto. But they need some major upgrades. So I'm very disappointed with the Yankees being a 500 team. My only consolation is finishing ahead of Boston, but they're nowhere near Tampa Bay. Then Baltimore just waxed their butt, and they're not even a wild card team. So, the coaches who coaches for the Cowboys are puppets like Mike McCarthy now, because Jerry Jones runs everything. Cashman talks everything. But again, they don't have anyone putting their foot to their neck. That's the difference. When George Steinbrenner ran the Yankees, your butt had to deliver. That's the difference. So, But yeah. But anyway, back to what you said here. Aaron Judge is more like, yeah, I look at him. It's kind of like Josh Allen, if I'm honest. Yeah. Talent is there. Yeah, but Buck Showalter's problem is he's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Got fired by the Yankees, Joe Torre comes and gets 4 rings. Gets fired by Arizona, Bob Brenly comes in and gets a ring. Mets fire him. Don't let them go get to the World Series and win a ring. He's the kind of dude that gets you there, but he can't finish up. Old school, stern in his ways, fiery, edgy. And he gets his teams up to a certain point, but he's not a finisher. He gets a lot of jobs, he don't finish. And he left 5 rings on the table. Think about it. 2 guys come along and scoop up his spot and get jewelry. That's how I look at Buck Showalter. There are guys that are like that. That's how I look at Tibbs, the coach of the Knicks. I think that style gets you so far, but then it don't finish. So, I'm not surprised the Mets stunk and they underachieved. And he had to go. I mean, they quit on him by June or July. So, they got standards. And it wasn't like the National League. I mean, Atlanta was great. But if Arizona gets to the World Series, a team that was great in the first half and stunk it up the second half and was a wild card team, why can't you with your talent? They underachieved. So I understand why they let him go. I get it. I'm going to talk for about 4 more minutes. I'll see, I've been enjoying this today. It's been on point. So thank you, Cass, for coming out. Great questions. I'll be on for a few more minutes before I haul out. But yeah, I didn't even know that he had gotten fired. But I wasn't surprised, though. He always his welcome a lot. Not shocked or surprised. But he'll get another job. Because the Major League Baseball regurgitates these cats that resurface. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's been in the office, I got nothing much to say about Nolan Ryan. I mean, he was I guess you call him a great pitcher. I think he's a bit overrated. Strike out a lot of people, no hitters, one hitters, gave up a lot of home runs, lost a lot of games. I grew up in Houston a little bit. I thought if J.R. Richards hadn't been tampered with, he could have been just as great as Nolan Ryan, if not better. Ryan pitched a long time. I think I got turned off him being a good old boy. But I mean, just on the pitching consensus, I was more of a Steve Carlton fan, and I liked Tom Seaver better, and Clemens is a protege of Ryan, but I think Roger Clemens had a better career than Nolan Ryan. That's my personal opinion. So, but Ryan, he came up big time, and the Texas got a good squad. They were the best team. They came out. They finished strong. Yeah, Pedro was a beast. Pedro was like the modern day Juan Marshall. I don't know if he was the guy, I could say like an offshoot of a Marshall. Pedro was a bad cat. I love both them cats. They were great. Mm-hmm. So Pedro's doing the MLB Network. He's cool. I still remember him and Ramon used to have them wet, greasy Jerry curls back in the day. Crack me up. And Ramon had a decent little run. He was decent. But yeah, Clemens was great, and so was Pedro. Good call on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like those cats. Hold up. Real quick. Okay. Yeah. Great questions, great conversations, great topics. We definitely tapped into a lot of different, sports, music, the whole nine. I really enjoyed the broadcast tonight. Appreciate you cats coming out talking, and if I don't see anything else, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. I gotta get here and start doing some cooking, see what's going on. But yeah, it was nice talking about those cats and great topics, great things that made me reflect on, because there were some things I had to reflect on for a moment. You know, when you're thinking about eras and times and stuff. So it was cool. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I'll give Buck Showalter. He'll come back again. He will be back. Teams will give him a shot. Baseball is a turnover business, so that's what's up. So, you know. I'll give another minute, see if there's anybody else got anything else they want to throw out there before I roll. Definitely enjoyed this, so. Definitely. Been a good day, for sure. Hope everybody's safe and well. And for those who celebrating Veterans Day, wishing the veterans of your family, or if you're a veteran, respect to you, you know. And being safe and being cool out here. It's the crazy times we're still living in, so. All right. So wishing everybody the peace and the best. I'll be on to about, as I see one more question come through. See a couple people just like they entered. Just waiting to see if anybody got anything else they want to talk about before I sign off. So I'll wait till I don't see nothing else. But it's definitely been a live chat. Definitely been on point. You know, I liked it. Talked a lot about COVID tonight, which was cool. You know, different stuff. His manager, he did good, but good ain't good enough when you're the Yankees manager, because you gotta win. They put banners up. They don't put regular season flags on their pole. They want to win. So he just burned bridges, and you know, Jeter wanted him, he would have stayed. So that's how I look at it. But you know, that's about it with that. So okay, so this time when these last seconds go through, I will definitely sign off if I don't get any more questions or any more thoughts. I'm gonna wait. I see somebody came back. So hold that thought. Right back. See what you got. So came back. Okay, I see two back. I'm just waiting to see if anybody got anything to say before I call, because I'm in a very uplift mood today, so I don't want to miss nobody if they want to talk. So I'll give it a couple more minutes. Sometimes these stations be kind of logged up, so I will be on. If anybody got anything they want to say, feel free. If not, we're gonna make this the last minute. I'm coming up on so we'll do the countdown if anybody got anything else they want to talk about. But anyway, I appreciate everybody that stepped through. Appreciate the comments, the questions. Appreciate you always, Tid and ZP. Right on. Appreciate your questions. Great feedbacks. Great questions. A lot of great topics. We covered a lot of the areas and time periods, and I always appreciate when people come through, taking the time, busy schedules, life, you know, everything that's going on. So I'm always humble about it. And glad to hear from you all. everyone that shows up. So appreciate you. And I still see one person that's on, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more, and then I'm gonna sign off. So I'll be back in a few days. I usually like to do Thursday, Sunday. That's my time, so we'll see. But anyway, I'm gonna give everybody the best. Be safe out there. Be careful out there. Have a good evening.